Okay, greetings and salutations. Well, I'm Ashlee Tayla. Welcome to my chaos. I just moved into a new apartment, moved interstate technically. I was like living between the two states, but all my things were back in South Australia and I moved. And so I was like, damn, I have no energy. I want to make something easy. Also, like, as you can probably tell from the background, should I have turned off the lights in the background so that's less horrible? Probably, but we've begun now. I want to just do something easy where I didn't have to have a nice background set up yet because I don't. So I'm going to do an updated reading your assumptions about me video. I did one of these back in 2021 and I just feel like things have changed. So I wanted to do an updated one as a little easy thing. So I asked in my YouTube community posts and over on my Instagram story, follow me on Instagram, plug, what your assumptions about me are, and I'm going to react to them. I asked people to be like brutal, but I don't think people will be because every time I ask that of my audience, everyone's just like very nice. I appreciate this. But you can say something unhinged and then like force me to read it if you like. I'm going to start with my YouTube ones. I have two. The first is that you are the sweetest person. I live on a noisy street now, isn't that great? The first is that you are the sweetest person who deserves every good thing that happens to you. That's very sweet, and I don't think that's true at all. I feel very undeserving of all the wonderful things that happen to me. The second is when you're around attractive women, you get too nervous and you don't shoot your shot. I mean, like, I'm in a happy relationship right now, so I'm not shooting my shot with anyone. I feel like I get nervous around like any attractive people though, just because like not even because I want to like date them. It's just like I forget how to like function around people who look too pretty. It like throws off my brain. I don't know. I think it was always bad when I was like single and would try and flirt with women. I mean, like I don't know how to flirt with anyone. I'm too autistic for that. But I think I could handle conversing with a man in like a like romantic subtext than I could with a woman, just because like there is that classic thing of like, are you going to think I'm just saying compliments in like a bestie slay way? And I think I also was someone who like women would try and flirt with me and I thought they meant it in like a bestie slay way. So number one, you have no idea what you want to do in the future for your career / personal life / etc. And two, your favorite Peach PRC song is Heavy. My favorite Peach PRC song is Heavy, closely followed by Dear Inner Child. So yeah, you clocked me. Congrats. In terms of not wanting to know what I want to do with my life, like in every aspect, I don't know, it's like partially true in terms of my career, yes, because I'm very well aware that like being a professional cosplayer and professional content creator is not going to last forever, and it's like I want to keep pursuing this as much as I can while it's happening because it is a dream of mine. And so while this is being successful and it's bringing me these wonderful opportunities and I can't even believe that my life is my life, I'm going to keep pursuing that heavily, and that is going to be what I dedicate my time and energy to, because why wouldn't I when it's working for me right now? But I know that that's something that won't last forever, and I have no idea what I want to do after that fact, because everything that I want to do is all creative, and all of my life goals are in very hard to find success creative fields, like, you know, writing a novel or writing a screenplay. Like those are very hard to actually achieve things. So I hope that I can run with the cosplayer thing for as long as it can take me, and I'd love to get back into acting someday. I haven't really done it even as a hobby in a while, not seriously, but I grew up doing community theatre and theatre in school, and acting was my favorite thing in the world. But they're not exactly like reliable careers to pivot into, so I have no idea. In terms of my personal life, like I have certain goals that I want to achieve in terms of how many cats I want. They're like very arbitrary, up in the air kind of things. Would love to own a property someday so I can paint the walls and decorate it how I want and not have to worry about that. But realistically, will I ever have the money to do that? Who will fucking see? The economy is in shambles. You sleep with a plushie that you have had since you were a kid. I sleep with multiple plushies. I kind of go through phases on what is my go-to. So my plushie from when I was a kid, like my favorite one is a plush of Bambi, and I do sleep with that quite often. But I feel like my main go-to is in 2021, I got one of those like Sleepy Stitch plushes, the like long big ones, and I got it while I was going through a breakup, really really rough one, and that's become like my main comfort plush. That, and I have one of my Toothless plushes is also my other. That's my like travel comfort plush. I love how much this community has grown because of how sweet and amazing you are. I don't think that's why the community has grown. I take no credit for the community that I'm lucky enough to call my audience. I'm incredibly blessed and very, very proud of it. But I know that I didn't do that. You guys did that. I have very, very lovely, lovely followers and people who engage in my lives and my streams and my videos and all of that. Like, I'm very, very blessed that I have a lot of very lovely people. When I go to cons and stuff and I'm guesting, I get to have the amazing opportunity of being very, very proud of who my audience is. But I don't think anything I've done has built that. I think I have just been lucky enough to have very amazing people like what I create, and they've built the amazing community themselves. The sweetest person on earth, who tries to be the best version of yourself even when you don't know what the future holds or where your career goes. You still try to make the best of it. I try to be the best version of myself for sure. I don't think I'm the sweetest person on earth. I think there's always room for improvement there. I try to be as kind as possible in every encounter that I have, but I'm a human being, so I mess up. You know, I'm autistic, so sometimes I navigate social situations and can unintentionally be rude or I can misread things, and I'm always learning from that and improving and trying to be better and moving forward. But you know, that is something that I experience, and I mess up and things suck and I make mistakes, so I don't want to be like, yeah. But I try to be the best version of myself and always be learning and growing and improving, and I try to navigate every encounter that I have in every situation. I try to navigate it with as much kindness and empathy as I can, and that is my primary thing that I navigate scenarios with. I try to like look at it of like I have a very lovely life experience of like my life kind of falling to shambles when I was in my late teens, like right after I left high school, and having no idea what I was doing with anything, and my hobby and my passion turned into a career, and that took years to turn into something that is actually like, it's still very unstable, and I'm not making bank, but I make enough to pay my rent and most days get food for myself. All days get food for my cat, you know. It's taken me to this place, but I get amazing opportunities that I never thought I would be able to get to do. You know, I get to go to premiere screenings of movies, and I got to go see the Fantastic Four cast in person in Sydney earlier this year, and I met Lee Winnell earlier this year at the Melbourne premiere of like Wolfman, and I've had incredible experiences. So I can kind of look at things and be like, I had no idea where my life was going, and I thought my life was over because of what happened when I was like 18, 19, and then I had this very, very lucky break in terms of my career. So, you know, I kind of think I have this like level of like optimism and hope that comes from that. In a rational way, I also obviously get deeply existential, and I'm like, my job is being a fucking clown, and there's no longevity in this. What the fuck am I doing? I should have roots. But I also hate jobs that are like normal, and I don't function well with them because of the neurodivergence and it's a whole thing. But I try to be positive about it, and I've been lucky enough that it's easier for me to be positive about it now than it was in the past, because I had a lived experience that was very cool of like things working out even though they probably shouldn't have. I've been watching you for years now, and I rewatch your reading vlogs to get me to pick my book up. Stop, Aiden, I'll cry. My assumption is you love Taylor Swift from such a young age because you felt seen and felt like someone could understand your pain for the first time from a fellow Swiftie who does feel this way. Much love. For a lot of it, yeah. I mean, when I first got into Taylor's music, it was very much so like just because I liked the sound of it. I became a Swiftie when I was 6, so I wasn't really relating to anything yet because I was 6 years old. And what's relating to anything? I'm 6. But then when I was probably like around like 8 or 9, I started really relating to Debut and just the feeling of like being an outcast that was in like the outside and Cold as You and songs like that. What's really funny is the older I've gotten, the more I've related to everything. Like now it feels like she's writing purely from a place of my brain, but I remember being like 10 and being like, everyone always says her breakup songs are so relatable, and I don't know, there's a couple that I can relate to, friendships I have or family relationships that I have, but on the whole, like, I don't know, I think people are exaggerating how relatable all of her catalogue is, and now I get it. Like, that she writes more relatable music for me than anyone else. It feels invasive sometimes how relatable her music is, and so her music does make me feel very, very understood and very seen, and that is why I feel such a connection to it, and that has been true for like the older I've gotten, I've just grown into relating to more and more of her stuff, to the point that now I'm at like, yes, I can relate to literally every single song she's ever written, pretty much. Some of the more like I wish less of the painful ones, but here we are. Life is life, and that's I think why her music has been such a constant in my like entire life, through all of my childhood almost, and through all of my teen years, and now throughout all of my adulthood so far. And I don't see that, you know, going anywhere. I love her character too, and I relate a lot to her character. I think she's a very like awkward, excitable person, and I relate to that a lot, but and obviously admire that a lot. But we'll see. Also, please react to Taylor Swift's new album when it comes out. Oh my god, of course I will. Of course I will. Who do you think I am? By the time I upload this, I might have uploaded my Sabrina album reactions. I'm filming this like a week before Man's Best Friend comes out, but I'm trying to upload like once every fortnight, because when I was doing weekly, it burned me out super quick. So I'm trying to be smarter and do fortnight, but like I'm gonna try and get the Man's Best Friend out as quickly as possible. But all right, Instagram. I feel like this is gonna be a little bit more unhinged. Everyone's so nice. Everyone's so nice over on my YouTube. You've really found yourself and your confidence in the last year. That's lovely. That's really, really sweet. I think so. I still wouldn't call myself a confident person, but I think I've become much more comfortable in my own skin, if not confident in it. And I feel like I have found myself a lot. I think and a lot of that has come through like having a really good partner and group of friends around me, and that has been very, very present since coming to Melbourne. Finding a community that I think I really fit into, and finding a level of success in my career where I no longer feel too embarrassed about it, because that goes hand in hand for me with my interests. Being celebrated for loving things loudly rather than being made fun of for it has really opened the door for me into being able to feel comfortable in my own skin. And hopefully eventually I get to confidence. I don't know if I'll ever get to confidence in like my appearance, but I'd like to get to being confident about like who I am as a person someday. But that's really sweet. Thank you so much. You're literally the sweetest angel, helped me through so much, and I miss you. I miss you, Millie, very, very much. Very much. You are the sweetest angel. You regret moving to Melbourne and definitely want to move back to Adelaide. Quite a few of my like Adelaide friends have said this, and it makes me feel loved. So thank you. You're way too hard on yourself. You are so much more capable than you believe. This is my friend Jacinta saying it, who is an angel and believes in me more than I deserve, I think. I think I'm too easy on myself. You're a good dancer. Thank you so much for thinking that. I'm really not. I did dance for like 10 years, but dance is a skill where like I stopped when I was 16. I'm 23 now. You lose it. Like within 2 years, I was like, okay, I've lost all flexibility. I've lost all sense of like control over my body, where it's like, I still have like decent rhythm and I can pick up in theory choreography really easily, but to execute it, no. I'm actually Arglinda, but you won't admit it because the wizard is watching. Whatever, what do you mean by that? And anyway, the wizard is off on a very unexpected departure. You actually have a secret apartment, but it is just filled with cosplays. I wish that I could afford to have like a second apartment that was just my cosplays, because currently they just take up too much space in my normal apartment. You seem like the sweetest person to know who gives the best hugs. Something that is like I really, really hope about myself, and is one of my favorite compliments I've ever received, is that I give good hugs. I think that's like the nicest thing you could ever be told. I know that you are the softest and kindest soul. Everyone is being very, very nice to me, and thank you for doing that. But I don't know. I think you could always be kinder. I think I could for sure be kinder. That you love dancing and singing and performing. I do. I'm not good at dancing or singing. I love performing. I think a lot of my job technically involves performing, both in terms of cosplay and party princessing. So I'd hope I'm decent at that. But I'm not good at dancing or singing by any stretch of the means. I'd have to Google, do they kill the dog, before watching any movie with a dog in it. I do. Anytime an animal shows up in a movie, I do have to Google if it lives, and if it doesn't, I have to turn it off. It's really stressful when I'm in a cinema, and I can't do that, especially when it's horror movies. Specifically this year, when I saw Nosferatu in theaters and Bring Her Back in theaters, both of which movies have a cat. And I will spoil, cats are fine in both of those movies, but the fear that ran through me, like I remember seeing Nosferatu and turning to my partner and saying, if anything happens to the cat, I'm actually going to have to walk out. Love Nosferatu, by the way, big recommend. Don't put a cat in a horror movie. The Child's Play remake really traumatized me. You're actually one of the smartest people when you walk into a room. I don't think this is true at all. I think I'm knowledgeable in a few very, very niche things, but I think in general I'm kind of dumb, and I don't say that as an insult to myself. I say that just as a matter of fact, unfortunately. And I think it's nice, because I feel like I surround myself with people that I learn a lot from constantly, and I think I would not want it to be any other way. I think if you're walking into a room and you're the smartest person in the room, you are stifling yourself a little bit, and you need to be around people who you are learning things from, and who are making you grow and be a better person. I think that's a very important thing to do with like the people that you hold dear and the people you surround yourself with, is make sure that, you know, you can have your strengths. I am more knowledgeable than, you know, film than probably a lot of my friends, but that's because that's my passion, and they're more knowledgeable about a lot of other things, and I learn from them, and they hopefully learn from me in my dumb little niche areas. You're outwardly shy but privately a freak admiringly. I like that you can, and I say this with love, I don't want this to alienate anyone. You can tell when I do things like this what kind of content people consume the most that I make. I don't know. Only the people who are lucky enough to know the answer to that know the answer to that. It's very select few. You're someone who would order gorgonzola pasta without knowing what it meant. This is my friend Lila. One time you go out for your friend's graduation celebratory dinner with their friends and family, and you think, I'm going to beat all of the autistic food allegations today, and I'm going to order something. No. And I'm going to be super brave, and I'm going to impress everyone by ordering something, and I'm not even going to ask much about what it is. It's a pasta listed in like the white pasta section, and you love creamy pastas. So you're going to be so brave, and you're going to order that. And so you order gorgonzola, and then everyone around you goes, Ashlee, do you know what that is? Because you are not only lactose intolerant, but you also hate more than any other food in the world. You hate the taste of cheese. And it turns out that you've ordered cheese pasta. Just cheese on cheese pasta. And that's what you get for trying to be fucking brave and beating the autistic food allegation. Anyway, no one make fun of my safe foods ever again. You're a punk rocker. I do think kindness is the new punk rock. So yeah, sweet, kind, lovely to talk to. That's really, really sweet. I hope so. I'm going to give this one to think of. You changed your Siri voice to male. I actually don't have Siri set up because I find her kind of scary, which is even more unhinged. Your favorite ice cream flavor is not mint choc chip. It's not, but I actually really love mint choc chip. You can crucify me if you want. I love it. Your favorite vegetable is carrots. I think number one would be celery, but carrots is in the top 3. When I was a kid, it was carrots. I would just eat like raw carrot all the time, and it was kind of an issue. But I think number 1 nowadays is celery. I love cucumber. I love anything that's just crunchy water. Really fuck with that. Lettuce, great. You miss living in Adelaide. I miss like the people in Adelaide and my family, obviously. But in terms of like the city itself, Melbourne is where I want to be, and I don't regret coming. Ashlee is literally Glinda. Thank you. Universal, let me be a Glinda meet and greet, please. Give the best hugs ever, especially when comforting someone. Again, I hope so. I've been told I'm a good hugger, but I don't know if people were just saying that to me because I famously have said it's my favorite compliment to receive. So I hope it's true though. You're really confident. Not even a little bit, but I like that someone thinks that. I think like I can, like, not to be like fake it till I make it, but I think I can like fake it till I make it a little bit. I'm a party princess, so I think I can at least not seem too nervous when I like go on stage in panels or whatever. I think you can see it a little bit if you know me, but I think like I hide it semi well. I don't know. I definitely don't think I'm a confident person, especially not in my day-to-day life. If you ever meet me out of cosplay, not even a little bit. It's kind of pathetic. You hug plushies to sleep. Of course I do. Or like whimsy and little things like trinkets or looking at the moon. I think so. I think like life is more fun if you try and find whimsy in little things. I love trinkets famously. I love when you can see stars, when the moon is a cool shape. Those are just like fun when the sky's a pretty color. It's driving. Famously, I don't have a car. I don't drive. I don't even have my full license. You're a very quirky girl. I don't know. I feel like quirky has kind of lost meaning over time. Like by definition, yeah. All your favorite non-musical songs are bad songs, just a little bit. I don't think so. But like it is white girl music. Like most of it is. It's either like emo, like I clearly had an emo phase in high school, or it's like Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, or it's Florence and the Machine. They're kind of like the realms, or it's Fleetwood Mac and like Stevie Nicks, which is like famously good. So it kind of depends, but like a lot of my favorite music is like pop, which a lot of people just look down on. But I think, and this isn't me just like being like, I'm greater than now, because I don't think this is true. I think pop music just gets this bad rap for being like, for containing like empty music. And yes, there is that in pop music. There's that in every genre of music. I don't think the music that I like I think my favorite artists have, you know, some songs that are better than others, but like all of them are very, very talented lyrically and with melodies, and I think there's a lot of layers to all of their music and the work that they put into it that people don't recognize. I want to write a book/movie at some point. Yes, that is my dream. Loves each and every single Taylor era, but has a soft spot for Red and Speak Now. Yeah, actually, you clocked me. Also, Reputation. Even though, like, Red, Folklore, Speak Now are my top 3 albums, the Reputation era was just so special to be a part of, like, as a fan. It's my favorite tour that she's ever done. And it's, you know, it's when I got my Taylor notice, and so, like, I'm biased, but... You love strawberry flavored things because it reminds you of Glinda. I love strawberry flavored things for like a lot of reasons. I also just generally love pink. Glinda and I can relate on that, but also strawberry is like my favorite flavor of anything. So, and has been since I was a child. Fuck chalky milk. I'm a strawberry milk kind of gal. You love Taylor Swift so much. I love her so much. You're always getting asked out on dates. So flattering. No. Because here's the thing, like, maybe if I went into, like, my Instagram DMs or something, there might be some people who live in, like, other countries hitting me up and in a non-real way. But I'm not someone who gets, like, asked out in public, like, ever. I don't really get hit on. I'm, like... People aren't that interested. Thankfully, my partner was interested, but he also, he slid into my DMs. That's how we met, you know? I'm not someone who people are really pursuing. Hey, Canon, Ashlee is nice, will probably dislike me IRL. Lol, I don't believe that is true. No, I doubt. Your bedroom is always messy. Like, semi. I have ADHD, so I have, like a chaos that is true to my brain, that other people are like, what a tornado has happened. And I'm like, but I know where everything is. But also, like, it depends on my mental state at any given time. Because I also like organizing and cleaning. So, you know, I have that kick once a month and then everything's tidy for a week and then the tornado hits again. We've tried at least some of the Juno positions. I'm a 23-year-old. Yeah. You don't know which ones. I'm not going to say which ones. This is a family-friendly channel. Dating makes Ashlee nervous, like the thought of it gives her anxiety. Like the idea of like first dates and everything does, and I've always hated them like deeply. Being in a relationship doesn't make me nervous. Like once I'm comfortable with a person, I'm in a relationship with them, it's fine. But like dating makes me nervous. Even like now, the thought of if I would have to go on a first date again, like makes me want to throw up. Awful. Kill it with a Stephanie Brown cosplay if you haven't yet already. I have not yet, but I do want to. Assume you practice an American accent like Wanda does with TV shows. I do often. I'm bad at it, and my partner loves to point out that I'm bad at it, but I also like have to do one at work. Because like eventually I would like to be able to do a passable one by American standards. Right now I can do a passable one by like Australian child standards. Your process of building a new cosplay is probably chaotic AF, but that's also the secret sauce. You don't want to see me when I'm working on cosplays, because also like very open about this. Quite a few of my cosplays are bought. A lot of them, like majority, I have like sourced pieces of and then altered or added decorations to. That's kind of how I go about most of mine, because I have certain skills, not all of them, and also like all of my skills I'm practicing while having an audience, and that's scary. And there's like gorgeous big cosplays I want to do that I just don't have the skills to create. So a lot of the time, like the bases of fits that I want to do, I will buy, or some of my cosplays are completely bought, like a lot of my superhero ones, and then I've just styled the wigs and done the makeup. But like, so whenever I'm doing something that's like either I'm making it from scratch or I'm like really altering something, or I'm, you know, a lot of the times it's like I'll get a friend to 3D print a prop and then I'll be like painting and rhinestoning and those sorts of things. It is very chaotic and also like probably really bad for me. I forget to like that I'm inhaling toxic fumes a lot of the time. I'm about to make shark teeth for a power cosplay for the first time. And that involves like molding things on my teeth physically. I've only ever done fangs before, which I made with false nails. I'm gonna like fully use like plastic and make like a full set. And like wish me luck. That's gonna look really crazy. It's gonna be one of the first cosplay pieces my partner has seen me build in person too. So like let's see how that goes. And if they still like me after that. She cries if she accidentally steps on a bug outside, but will kill any that get in the house. I will kill bugs that get in the house, but I also cry when I kill them because I still feel really bad. But I'm also like, you can't live here. So I have to I have to and I'm too afraid to just take them outside, which is like my downfall. But I also feel awful about it. Like I feel so guilty, and you will never see me kill an ant, a spider, anything, even though I will be killing them because get out of my house. I will be sobbing, like irrationally upset about it. You would 100% be the person to tell a story about something that happened in LA and you'd say I have a Taylor Swift song for that. I will have a Taylor Swift or Glee song for every occasion. For everything. Don't even worry about it. You ever have a scenario and you're like, wow, wish I had a song about this? I can provide. Hit me up. Running around the house flipping in a Spider-Man costume. When I'm wearing my spider suits, I do be flipping. Because you can't not. It's fun to just get on the ground and flip. What a sentence. I feel like you're addicted to caffeine. Deeply. Deeply. Monsters and coffee are all I consume, pretty much. It's probably an issue. Could be addicted to worse things. You say the book is better even when it isn't. I like to think that I'm actually quite honest about this. I like to think that I have the capability to be rational and to admit when an adaptation is better than a book. I think I have that capability. I think it's rare for it to happen, but I think when it does happen, I can admit it. I prefer the How to Train Your Dragon movies to the books. There you go. I like to think I'm quite real about that and I'm quite honest. I do like to think so. Your star sign is my star sign is Libra. It would be amazing friends and you could teach me to cosplay. I hope so. I don't know how much I could teach. I feel like I learn more from my friends than they learn from me, but I can try. You're a soprano. I'm actually an alto, which is the bane of my existence and was the bane of my existence when I was like a choir kid. Breaks up singing theatre mid-date when there's an awkward silence. Fun fact, the first ever like adult date I went on, just as proof that I've always been this way, by the way. First ever like adult date I went on, and it was my first date with my first like adult partner too. I did like toss in the middle of a date. Thankfully, this man was a theatre kid and knew the reference and had seen Wicked. But also, like, keep in mind, this was also 2019, 2020, early 2020. So the chances of him it's not, like, as prominent in culture as it is now after the movie. And he still liked me. You fall asleep in your cosplays. I try not to. And a lot of the time, it's because a lot of the time after cons, I have, like, people staying with me or I'm staying with friends. So when I get home from a con, they're also like, I'm like shutting down from the autism overload, from just like masking all day and being like Ashlee Tayla TM all day. And so I'm like shutting down fully and they're like, okay, we're going to help you take off your wig. I'm going to undo your corset. You're going to go change into pajamas. You're going to go take off your makeup and then food. And then you can sleep. So I have kind of friends who like help guide me through like the basics so that I don't fall asleep in cosplay. But sometimes I'm like creating content in cosplays late at night and you'll take off a wig and then you'll sleep in a spider suit because taking off the wig took too much effort. Then you're maybe 2% less sweet than your online presence implies. I hope I'm more sweet than my online presence. I feel like my online presence is deeply chaotic. I hope people meet me and they're like, wow, she was really sweet, rather than being like, she seems nicer online. Like, new fear unlocked. That is, as of right now, all of the assumptions that people have said through, and I want to give a shout out to everyone being nicer than I thought. I thought you would read me to fucking filth, and you were all actually very respectful and nice, which is, not, I don't know, it probably makes some more boring content than if I'm like offended and crying, but I appreciate it as a human being more so than just like a vessel for content. So thank you so much for doing that. I don't know, I hope this wasn't too boring. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more of me, I will link all my social media below. I am a cosplayer, so you can go see all my cosplay things over on Instagram and TikTok. I post like more and more cosplay things over here. It flops, but I don't care. I love doing it, so I'm going to keep doing it. If you'd like to see more of me, I have a Patreon and passes. They will also be linked below. Thank you so much to everyone who supports me over on those platforms already, but especially thank you to those who are one with the Force and Ashlee's favorite goblins. Give a round of applause for Ashlee's favorite goblins. Let's hear it. Thanks. I love you. I'll see you very soon. Mwah!